so we don't know what to call this yet, but it's going to be kind of a frequently asked questions, sit in, talk with the docs, whatever you want to call it. We'll figure out something cool. Probably take us a couple episodes to figure that out, but we're hoping to make this a weekly-ish thing, or AKA whenever we feel like there's a topic to talk about. So today what we want to talk about is RockTape, how to use it, what its uses are, things like that, because it's something that we use in the clinic a lot. So whether you come in with a achy knee or a crappy posture or blah, 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 there's many different ways to use kinesiology tape, especially RockTape.
But the three main uses, pain, fluid dynamics, and for a performance proprioception postural cue, kind of like how the tape's talking to the brain. So Reid, how would you explain how the tape works for pain?
So pain, the best way I can explain it is it's mama kissing your boo-boo. So we have two different fibers we can think of that both get to our brain. One is super slow and one is super fast. Mm-hmm. If I bump my knee or I get a boo-boo on my knee, that fiber, that pathway is relatively slow in comparison. Now it still happens really fast, but it's slower than if I bump my knee and rub it, or if mama kisses my boo-boo on my knee. That's going to follow a much faster pathway. Yep. And what this is called is the gate theory. So if only one of these pathways can get through the gate to your brain first, mm-hmm. the faster one's obviously going to be the slower one. So the better afferent, good-feeling touch, which can be supplied by mama's kisses on your boo-boo, rubbing your knee, or tape, is going to get to your brain faster.
So what about fluid dynamics? Because that feels so microscopic that it's almost like it's not doing anything, but I know it's there is something happening on a cellular level.
Yeah, so very, like you said, microscopically, there is a biomechanical lifting effect to the tape on the skin, mm-hmm. And the best to continue using analogies there is I tell people it's kind of like turning a 2-lane highway into a 4-lane highway, so that separation between those layers and that skin ligament layer is going to not only decompress and provide more area for good blood to come in and bad blood to get out with nutrients, oxygen, things like that, but it's also going to lift those skin ligaments, which are attached to lymphatic vessels and pre-lymphatic vessels, mm-hmm. and this interstitium and fascia and all this stuff that could act as an external pump to get stuff in and out as well.
Is there a difference between the way that you pull the tape in pushing lymph?
No. So research is saying that there's no difference of which way we should pull tape. I mean, mm-hmm. distal to proximal, proximal to distal, it doesn't really matter. Just put tape on skin and you can't screw it up.
And that proprioception, positional, posturally, I guess same question, when you tape tension in different directions, is that influencing the proprioceptive stuff? And kind of explain how that third use comes in.
Yeah, I think you said it best right away with the, it's just talking to the brain. So mm-hmm. if we put tape on your finger and throw a baseball at you, most likely you're going to catch that baseball kind of weird and use that finger differently. Mm-hmm. And for no reason other than there's tape on it. Now, tape can stretch. You can grasp with that. But something on your finger was telling your brain to alter your motor outcome, and that's just what your brain decided to do. Your brain is the Kim Kardashian of your body. It's just up there judging things, right? Work with me here. So your brain is the Kim Kardashian of your body. It's up there judging and scrutinizing everything that you put into it. Mm-hmm. So if you put tape on your finger, or tape on your knee, or tape on your low back, it's going to assess what that tape should be doing and what your motor outcome response should be.
And like pay more attention to that.
Yeah, whether it's pay more attention, move differently, and just be more cognizant and conscientious of that movement.
Mm-hmm. And then would you say that it's support?
No. The cool thing about tape, and especially in the postural positioning realm, is that it's forcing you to use your own muscles to hold that position. Mm-hmm. So I could easily go on Amazon and buy a posture brace to hold me up at work while I'm working from my desk for 62 hours a week.
Right.
And as soon as I take that brace off when I get home, I'm going to go and just sink right into crappy posture.
Your muscles were being
off. They didn't have to be used.
They didn't have to, right? And they're not, braces aren't training the endurance of the muscles or the firing of the muscles. It's literally a Band-Aid. It's a brace. So it's something like tape for posture is actually engaging it. It's talking to the brain saying, hey, let's pull these muscles back. Let's sit up tall.
And like you just said, building the endurance of those muscles.
Yeah.
So it's not building strength per se. It's building activation, endurance, and communication, mm-hmm. which communication is key.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the uses of the tape. Next thing is actually using the tape and how to apply it. So we just quickly want to go through how to use like one strip of tape, just applying, removing, things like that. First thing we have to talk about is different colors. I mean, different types.
Colors are important.
Colors are
I must
important,
say.
though. So the first thing is there's 3 different types. Gentle, it's not going to be as sticky. Standard, a little bit more sticky. And then super sticky or extra sticky or H2O or whatever you want to call it, okay? So 3 different types of stickiness or 3 different levels of stickiness. When to use those, why to use those, completely up to you. Obviously gentle, pediatrics, elderly, those with sensitive skin, which in 2019 seems like everybody. Standard tape, that's kind of your go-to, should use most of the time. H2O or extra sticky, level number 3. Swimmers, surfers, sweaty people, basically anybody else like that. So when to use those 3 different types, completely up to you. Putting tape on the skin, first thing we want to do is cut the tape off, round the edges, measure it out so you know exactly where you're going to put it. We pre-measured this knowing that we're going to put it on Claire's elbow. Next thing we're going to do is rip off that edge so you have 1 inch of adhesive exposed. Before we place that adhesive down though, what we need to do is clean the skin. Because maybe Claire put on bug spray or something before this and she has emollient, that lotion, that bug spray, whatever it is underneath there, and it can cause an irritation as she wears the tape for 3 to 5 days. So we want to wipe that off with anything like alcohol wipes, anything to clean that skin off, let it dry, and then we are ready to put the tape on. So putting that anchor tab on, we don't want to stretch that last or first inch of tape. If we put an end piece on and then stretch that, that's where we can get irritation. So we don't want to stretch the very end, the last inch of tape. Okay. What we also don't want to do is stretch the tape at all, because research says we don't have to. Okay. So we want to stretch the skin, maybe put her in a little wrist flexion, internal rotation, as we lay this strip down her entire wrist. Okay. You can see me kind of following that tape back with my hand, and then we can go through and rub that tape in. What we're trying to do here is not heat activate the adhesive or anything, but we're trying to make sure that all the tape is stuck down to her skin, there's no air bubbles in there or anything like that. And so something that's kind of cool is when she flexes her elbow, you can kind of see puckering up, not even in the elbow crease, but puckering up down here. That's that biomechanical lifting effect from the tape kind of lifting those layers away from one another. And that's because we stretched the skin, not the tape, and it still provided a stretchiness or a lifting or an elastic effect without having to stretch the tape at all. So next step, after 3 to 5 days of wearing this around, which again I say 3 to 5 days because skin dies, right? And if skin's falling off underneath there and dying underneath there and it's not allowed to slough off, it's gross. We have tape covering, it's not allowed to slough off, and once you take that off after 3 to 5 days, it's going to take the dead skin with it, and it's going to look like an irritation, and that's just not something we want. Okay? So after 3 to 5 days, we want to start peeling that tape off from an end, not from the middle. And the other thing we want to think about is as we peel that off, take it off in the direction of hair growth. Okay? So arm hair grows from proximal to distal. We want to take that tape off in that same direction. It's just going to be much easier on pain tolerance levels. As we take that off, peeling it back on top of itself versus up and away is much more comfortable. Okay? And it's not going to irritate or bother the skin as much. So if we peel that off on top of itself, and you can even hold the skin down behind that and go kind of inch by inch, it's going to cause way less irritation to that skin as you peel it off. Do not pull it straight up because that hurts, or off like a Band-Aid because that hurts as well.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Don't do that. So again, tape is something that we use all the time in the clinic. You can buy it anywhere, CVS, Walgreens, Dick's Sporting Goods, Target, blah, blah, blah. Many brands galore. Be smart with it. Use it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions. Say, hey, how do I tape this? What's the best way to tape this? We're happy to show you. Like we said, if you have it, we want to help you use it. And then don't forget to mention if you do have sensitive skin and that's going to bother it, just let us know. Because then that points us to, we don't know those things unless we've asked or if you've told us. So to pick the best tape, and then just be mindful of how long you're keeping it on, things like that. So.
Awesome.
Awesome.